Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again for Drunkard's Walk. Thanks so much for listening this week, and a big thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Harmio for our artwork. Well, have you checked out our link tree yet? Have you gone over and give us a rating or review? If not, this is a perfect time to wait and do that until the end of the episode when you can forget about it. Absolutely don't do it right now. Please just wait, and you're bound to forget by the time you reach the end of this amazing episode. But hey, I hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody, welcome to Drunkard's Walk, the podcast. It's me, Matt Hartman, one of the hosts of Drunkard's Walk. You know, I love doing this podcast. I love walking through Wikipedia from one page to another using only the links. And you know, the only thing that I love more than that is working with my amazing co-host. You know him. It's Jethro Nolan. How's it going, Jethro?
Oh, Matt, what a delightfully nice thing to say. That's so thoughtful and kind. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for tolerating me low these last 160 or so episodes of this podcast.
No problem. Hey, we're on 165, man. 165 today. Yeah.
Look at that. That's kind of its own sad achievement.
It is kind of its own sad achievement. That's right. But we're also only 3 episodes away, including this one, from the end of season 11. I can't believe it. We're approaching the end of the season. And that does make me a little, I don't know, a little sad. I look back over the season. I remember the good times. And, you know, I try to live in the moment. But I fear the future, Jethro.
Why do you fear the future?
Have you seen what's going on around us? It's a ridiculous world we live in. I'm just afraid.
Why not fear the past?
Because I already know. I mean, I know. Well, I guess to say that I know the past is to say that I know a very small fraction of the things that have happened in the past. But I'm not as afraid of it. I guess because it's not as unknown to me. Also, it's not coming. Like I don't have to live through the past. I'm going to have to live through the future.
Mm-hmm. So you are the product of an unbroken chain of survivorship from the moment life began on this planet until now.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. I feel like, given that, you know, the Earth is like 4.5 billion years old, and you're here, man. You only have to make it another, I don't know, 40 years or so.
Thanks. That's good.
It feels like. How many years do you want, Matt?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I hadn't really put a cap on it at any point. So I wasn't too concerned about the actual number.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that don't be pessimistic. Like you're going to make it. You did it.
Oh, thanks, man. Okay, that's great. This is very uplifting. Daily devotionals with Jethro, folks. Look at the bright side of everything.
Devotionals for cynical assholes. Yes,
that's right. Oh man, well, this is great. We're here on. If you're listening to this the day that it came out, it's March 4th, which I am told is the only date that is a command. I think, or is a command. Like March 4th. Like you're telling somebody to go do that. Have you heard that before, Jethro?
Yeah, I heard that recently in the intro to this show before we started taping.
And have you come up with anything since then? Because you said you were going to try to come up with a contradiction to that.
Well, I'm a contrarian, so I have to. As soon as somebody said this is the only blank, I have to come up with a contrary, disproving example. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm in May, like, because I feel like May. Now it wouldn't be a command; it would be a sentence like May 1st. Could be like, can I go first?
No, come on, but that's not very
totally
grammatically correct. Yeah, it's a huge stretch. Yeah. But March 4th is not a stretch at all. I mean, it's the only. I think it's true.
Yeah, right. But like, when was the last time you told someone to March 4th?
I'm not saying that it's practical use. I'm just saying that it is true. You very rarely hear somebody tell someone else to go October 12th either. You know what I mean? But or maybe you'd probably never hear that one.
Well, I mean, that's in certain subcultures that has a very vulgar connotation.
Oh, no.
That guy can go October 12th himself, if you know what I mean.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope that it's not in Australia.
Don't Google it.
Thing, because we're going to lose all of our listeners if that's the case.
No, in Australia it's October 13th. That has that connotation.
Why would you say it out loud then? Now we're going to be in real trouble. Oh man. Well, this as informative as all this is, we've got to get down to it, Jethro. We've got to get into Wikipedia. We've got to find our way from Paddy the Wanderer, where we ended last week, off to some new destination. And rather than play the game of how on earth are we going to do that, which we love to play that game.
But how are we going to do it, Matt?
Oh, Jethro. We have someone else on the call with us, Jethro. We're gonna talk to her, and she's gonna give us a destination.
Fantastic!
I think it's a great idea. It's Emma Lashley. Emma, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well,
welcome to the pod.
Yes, thanks for joining us here. Now, Emma, we've never met before, but I'm guessing because I asked you already, and it was pretty easy to figure out. You probably heard of us through Escape This Podcast. Is that right?
I sure did. The very first episode of Escape This Podcast that I listened to was the one that you guys were on.
Wow.
So timing, it was like fate.
That's amazing. So it was all uphill for you from listening to other episodes of theirs. That's great. That's amazing. Well, that's really cool. And so I'm glad that you enjoyed it enough to seek us out and to start listening to Drunkard's Walk. Have you felt like it was a good move to start listening?
Yeah, definitely. And I like that you guys have so many episodes to listen to.
There we go.
There's so many seasons to catch up on.
There's a lot of Wikipedia that we haven't even touched on yet. So yeah.
That's right. We've got a lot ahead of us. That's the future I'm not afraid of, Jethro.
There you go.
That's the one I'm looking forward to.
If we do this this podcast till we run out of Wikipedia, then that would be an amazing achievement.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to fit it into what did you give me? Another 40 years?
Yeah, 40 years.
I don't think we'd fit it in. So Emma, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from?
I am from the state of Indiana. And then confusingly, for the last couple years, I've been living in the town of Indiana in Pennsylvania. So quite close to you guys in Pittsburgh, actually. And I've just moved back to the state of Indiana.
Okay. I see. And were you in Indiana because of IUP, or were you there for some other reason?
Yep. Did my grad program there.
Oh, excellent. What did you
study?
Grad in?
Applied archaeology.
Whoa. Okay. That's awesome. All right. Tell us a little bit about...
So you're basically Indiana Jones.
Right, Indiana.
Yeah, but he's not even good at his job, and I am. So.
Oh, wow!
That guy. That was,
Matt.
Okay. Yeah.
Shots fired.
Cutting right to the quick there.
All right, so let's jump in. Why is Indiana Jones bad at his job?
Yeah.
He basically just steals stuff. He doesn't write anything down about what he does. He doesn't do anything in order. He just walks up, takes a thing, says this belongs in a museum, and never tells anything about it ever again.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's fair. No documentation, and that's bad news. I know.
Is there like a reverse Indiana Jones, somebody who grabs stuff from a museum and says, this belongs in the culture from which it was originally taken?
If there's not, there should be, because that's a big discussion right now.
I feel like wasn't there the one guy in Black Panther who stole from some of the Wakanda artifacts, or not stole, but perhaps repatriated would be a different way of framing it. Some of the Wakanda artifacts to take it back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
anyway. All right. So applied archaeology. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically what I want to do, what I'm currently doing, is what's called cultural resource management archaeology, which basically means when they're going to go build a building and there's some reason to do archaeology first, they bring us in to do all of that work before they build something. So rather than being like an academic working in a college and teaching students and writing papers, you're actually out in the field pretty much 100% of the time, digging stuff and finding stuff.
Okay.
Wow, that sounds great. Have you done this at all? Have you done any practical work on this so far?
Yeah. So a lot of it is what we call phase one, where you just basically go to a field where they're going to build like a pipeline or something, and you just dig holes for miles and miles to see if there's anything there. But right now I'm on what's called a phase 3. So I'm excavating at a cemetery site, which is really cool.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah,
Nice.
That is really cool. Holy cow! So what and what is what are they going to build at a cemetery? Like just additional plots or something, or what? Why do you need to do it there?
It's something that's getting built in the middle of a city, so they have to move the cemetery, and it's been disturbed for the past 100 years. So this is actually a great project to kind of get these people a more restful place.
They actually did that to some of my ancestors. So on the north side of Pittsburgh, where there used to be a large German expat community. There was a cemetery called Botley Cemetery, which was part of, I guess, the Lutheran church that was up there. And that's where some of my ancestors were buried. But then they wanted to build an interstate through there. So they dug everybody up and moved them up to the top of Troy Hill and plopped them down there. I'm sure they're far more respectful than my language is.
Plopped them. Jethro, we got to go back and look at our ancestry a little bit closer someday, because my family also lived on the north side of Pittsburgh for like a long time back in the day.
Are we brothers?
I think there's a chance that at least our ancestors did a podcast together. I think that's at least a possibility.
That makes sense. That makes total sense.
Well, that's so cool. So, Emma, did you do any work around the Pittsburgh area? Because I know there's a lot of like one of the earliest sites for man is close to Pittsburgh. I can't remember the name of the place right now off the top of my head, but did you do any work around here while you were at IUP?
Yeah, so actually in downtown Pittsburgh, my best friend did her thesis on the Pittsburgh Chinatown, which nobody knows is there. So it's one street now where there's like a Chinese restaurant, but 100 years ago it was like 2 or 3 blocks. That was the Chinatown.
Huh.
Yeah, I moved to Pittsburgh from Los Angeles, which has an amazing and large Chinatown. And so when we heard that there was a Pittsburgh Chinatown after living in LA, we were like, oh, let's go there for and it was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's so cool. So, wow, that's awesome. I'm really frightened though, because it seems like you're really smart and we're idiots. And so you must listen to us and just be like, oh, what are they doing? What is wrong? What is wrong with these people? So I'm going to apologize to you and anyone else out there who's smarter than we are, which is a large portion of the population, for all the mistakes that we've made so far.
The good thing is I only know a lot about archaeology. So anytime you're on any other topic, I'm like, yeah, that seems like the logical link.
Oh, okay, good.
And I'll cast aside that false modesty that we're idiots. I'm not an idiot. I'm just arrogant. That's true. That's my mortal sin, is that I'm confident in domains that I have zero right to be.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a better descriptor for you. I agree.
There we go. Thank you. But I agree that you're an idiot, Matt.
Thank you. So, thank you very much. Thank you for yes-anding my pleasure. My pleasure. There. Well, Emma, this is fantastic to talk to you about this and learn all about archaeology and why Indiana Jones. And also, I think it's great that you went to IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. You live in Indiana, and we're talking about Indiana Jones, by the way. I think that's a fantastic little triangle there. But we would love to hear about what destination you have brought for us this evening.
Well, fittingly, I have picked a Pennsylvania-themed archaeology topic.
Cool.
Which is the Monongahela culture.
Oh, now I have to try to see if I can actually spell Monongahela, even though I've lived here my entire life. I can't. I absolutely can't. Do you know how to spell Monongahela by any chance?
I did write it down.
Okay.
It's Monongahela.
It's that H that always gets me. Mm-hmm. So Monongahela culture. So tell us a little bit about what that is and what that refers to. I think I have a general idea, but tell us a little more.
Yeah, it is the group of Native American people that lived in southwestern Pennsylvania and some of the surrounding states. It's named after the river, not the other way around, which a lot of people get confused about. But we don't actually know who these people, what they called themselves, because they disappear right before the Europeans get there. And no one quite knows why. It could have been like those European diseases. There was a drought around that time. They could have got absorbed into other tribes. No one really knows why they just disappeared. But they're the people that were around Pennsylvania at that time. Trying to think what else about them. They're from kind of like the medieval period, or what like Europeans would call the medieval period, up until right before Europeans get there in like the 1630s. They build really cool like palisaded villages, so they'll have a big wall around them, and then they grew a lot of corn.
Huh. That's interesting. So yeah, I had no idea that I would have thought that the river was named after them, and I think I have thought that my entire life. But they just we have no real history of them other than the stuff that they left behind, is what you're saying.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. So is it proper to refer to this group as a tribe, or is that the incorrect
we usually
parlance?
Do avoid tribe, just because for all we know, they could have been like 20 different tribes that all thought of themselves as like different groups. So all we can say is that they shared like cultural traits, which is why we usually use like culture group or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Very cool. Yeah, and I'm being super delicate with the language just because I don't want to screw
Absolutely.
up. But advance apologies for when I absolutely do inevitably screw up. So you mentioned that there's not any, to our knowledge, there's not any surviving descendants is the wrong word, because there would probably be descendants of some kind, but like there's not still, like, in the same way that, gosh, I'm awkwardly dancing around how to articulate this thought. So in the same way that there are modern Native American tribes that are still with us right now that we can speak about, this group does not have that equivalent.
Yeah,
Right.
as far as I understand it, there's nobody that would say like, I'm a descendant of the Monongahela. We
Okay.
do work when we do their sites, like the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois. They will work with us, kind of like they see themselves sort of the protector of that culture, and like their people may be the descendants of that culture, but we don't know for sure. And I'm sure there's other groups with stories tied to these people, but there's no one that, like, as far as I understand it, claims them.
Well, and cultures shift and change and alter over time. So it's not surprising that, we don't have like the exact dotted line lineage between those folks and the current tribes, current organizations rather. So since the Monongahela River was the thing that they got their name from, what did the Monongahela River get its name from?
I think it's another tribe's name for the river.
Okay.
At some point, I think someone told me it means like crumbling river or like river that falls in, but I don't know if that is true or not.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, interesting. We'll try to find that out, because my guess is we're going to find our way near that river, if not into that river, in order to find this particular page. And just to verify, there is a page for Monongahela culture,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's good. We always should check that. Wow, this is yeah. So I'm already learning stuff, and I don't know how on earth we're going to get to this culture with them not being, they weren't involved in the French Indian War. They didn't, they weren't like nothing related to Fort Duquesne or any of these types of things that we generally think of as in the history of Pittsburgh. So this is really something. Now, were they? I'm assuming they were. You said that they were in Western Pennsylvania. Do we know if they spread further out west, east, north, south? Like, were they in other regions as well, or were they very kind of local to this area?
They spread a little bit into Ohio, West Virginia, and I think Maryland.
Okay.
And they do build mounds and stuff, so there might be some direction with that. I don't know if that would.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know where that river starts. Actually, Jethro, do you know where
the Monongahela starts?
The Monongahela starts.
Wouldn't it start in Lake Erie?
Oh, does it really? Oh, it may. Yeah, that may be true. I don't.
I mean,
no, I wouldn't think so.
Is
actually,
the Monongahela the one that goes north? No, because the Allegheny River would start in the Alleghenies, and the Monongahela, I would think. So the Monongahela is the one that's between downtown Pittsburgh and the north side, the baseball stadium. This is how sophisticated my understanding of geography is, right?
Yes, that's right. You're correct about that. Yes.
Okay, so if that's the Mon, it goes north from downtown Pittsburgh, and if you keep going north, like the source of water, there's no mountains up that way, so it would have to be Lake Erie, right?
But no, because I think things drain into Lake Erie. I don't think anything comes out of Lake Erie. I think it's a Lake Erie watershed that the stuff would go into, right?
Okay, but there's got to be a reliable enough source of water that there's either got to be water trickling downhill into the Monongahela, or it's got to be attached to a source of water.
What did I tell you?
I don't know. We'll figure this out.
We're idiots. I told you we're idiots. So there you go. We've got proof here.
Let's not equate being ignorant with being idiots. All right.
Okay.
Being ignorant about most things.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm the one who feels the worst about that. I've lived here my entire life. I should know these types of things, and I don't. So I'm the one that's ignorant to the point of it's like to blame, right? Like it's my fault that I'm this ignorant. So,
but you prefer to learn about things that don't exist, like Star Trek.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Wait, Star Trek exists. What are you talking about?
So are there any famous archaeological sites? And when I say famous archaeological sites, I mean within the confines of archaeology that are associated with Monongahela culture. Like, what's the if I were at an applied archaeologist convention and somebody brought up Monongahela culture, 10 of them would say, "Oh, don't you love the blank or whatever that's associated with them?"
I don't think so. It's a pretty small, understudied.
All right. So it's very niche.
Yeah.
Very niche. Okay. Cool.
I love it.
There might be one on the Point in Pittsburgh. I can't tell you that for sure, but I feel like that's one of the groups that they excavated there.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, there you
That
go.
might be the closest to famous you would get.
Well, this is great. I love it. It's going to be super difficult to get to, which I'm sure was probably part of your hope. So well done. If you were hoping for that, if you're hoping for an easy walk, then you picked the wrong thing. But this is awesome. I love it, and I can't wait to try to get there. Before we start walking, before we let you go, I do have to ask you though. We definitely have a little drink every now and again as we're walking along. Are you drinking anything this evening, Emma?
Yeah, I got some black cherry soda from a local brewery for tonight.
Ooh. Oh, what is the name of the local brewery? Do you know? Can you give them a shout out? It's called
BJ's Brewery.
Oh,
BJ's Brewery. Yes.
All right. Well, there it is. So yeah, so check that out if you happen to be in Indiana or I guess I don't know where in Indiana, but I'm assuming they're somewhere in Indiana. Is that right? You said they're local. Indiana. So there you go. Awesome. Jethro, how about you? Are you drinking anything from a local brewery?
I'm not, in fact, and not to my knowledge anyway. I'm having a Pamplemousse LaCroix because it was the most pretentious thing I could find.
LaCroix. It's pronounced LaCroix. I promise you.
But it's more pretentious if you pronounce it LaCroix.
It is much more pretentious. Well, I am having a whiskey drink tonight, to no one's surprise, and I am having this amazing American Metal, is what this is called. It is from New York. It's from Utica, New York, is my understanding. And it tastes really good. That was my first sip of it, actually. Just reading about it in this little book that I have. Oh, it has like a fruity flavor to it. I can't. Well, it's not black cherry, but I'm not sure what it is. But it tastes really good. I really like it quite a bit. I may have to try to find a bigger bottle of this. But yeah, it is a American metal, not like music metal, not like heavy metal. This is referring to like cars, apparently. From the rugged spirit of the American Metal Custom Shop. American Metal is a small batch boutique whiskey. So there you go. That's what I'm drinking this evening, and it's delightful.
All right,
as our conversation has been with you, Emma. So thank you so much for coming on and joining us. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate that. And this is going to be a difficult one to get to. We're going to have to unearth this one, but don't worry, we'll document it before we try to put it in a museum. Yeah.
So
terrible.
Smooth, Matt.
Sorry.
So smooth.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So thank you so much, Emma. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. Good luck.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right, Matt, we've talked drinks. We've got our suggestion. We've got one thing left to do, and that is to write down our numbers.
Oh,
to guess how quickly we'll be able to get there.
This is a tough one. I don't know. I've been guessing a little lower lately, and it's been working out okay because Jethro, did you know right now we are tied for our guesses? No. Yeah, it is 4-4 with 3 ties.
Now, I thought that the ties carried over and that the person who was the winner picked up those previous ones. So you should be ahead.
Yeah. No, so we used to do that, but we decided against that a season or 2 ago. We decided to let it go forward. I think. I mean, I'll go back and make sure, but I'm pretty certain that that's the case. But I'll make sure. And if I am ahead, don't worry, I'll take it. But I thought that like last season we decided we were going to have ties. Oh, wait, no. I'm looking back at last season. You're right, we don't. Okay. Well, I guess I was wrong. All right, I'll take them. Yeah, here we go. So we tied. Oh my gosh, I'm way ahead then.
Yeah.
I don't think you can even catch up. Let's just fix these here. That's a tie, and that one into okay. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm well ahead of you now. It's 7-4.
All right.
Well, Jethro, you got to win these last three in order to tie it up. So let's see what happens. But I'm gonna write down my guess regardless because I still need to do that. And let's get a walk-in, man.
Let's do it.
We are starting at Paddy the Wanderer, as I mentioned earlier. Paddy the Wanderer, and make sure I don't pronounce it with T's. My wife gets angry if it sounds like I'm saying Patty, but I'm saying Paddy the Wanderer, an Airedale Terrier who roamed the streets of Wellington, New Zealand during the Great Depression. Oh, Great Depression. That's around the time, this would have been the same time that this culture would have been around, right? In history. So
the Great Depression? No.
Yeah.
Although interestingly, when you hover over the Great Depression,
yes,
it has a link to the human history of New Zealand.
Oh, it sure does.
And it does not have anything at all to do with the Great Depression, the worldwide economic collapse of the 1930s.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But this talks about Maori culture and whatnot. This could get us to indigenous cultures, which could get us to the Monongahela culture, quite possibly.
Which is good because everything else on this page is, well, not everything, but most of it is like geographical. We've got Auckland, the Tasman Sea, San Francisco, Wellington Harbor Board. Oh, well, Wellington Harbor Board is actually a group of people. But yeah, look at this. A gypsy moth, but it actually links to a particular type of plane. I was expecting it to go to a moth. Pneumonia is on here too. And I think pneumonia might be one of those diseases that the Europeans brought to the New World, as they called it. So we could potentially go through something like that too. Spread of disease in the world.
Yeah.
What do you think? You prefer the Great Depression, which takes us to the history of New Zealand, or pneumonia, which will get us out of New Zealand and into the more worldwide web, if you will?
Let me throw another tantalizing possibility out there because we might as well. Under the sea also, there is but a single lonely link, and that is list of individual dogs. Now, presumably...
What does that mean?
It's a list of individual dogs.
Okay.
Presumably noteworthy dogs, famous dogs of some kind. Remember how many famous Airedale Terriers there were, and we were surprised by that?
Yes, I do.
So aren't there forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but what is the mascot for Carnegie Mellon University, which is located in Pittsburgh?
I want to say it's like the Pipers or something like that. It's something Scottish.
The Tartans?
Could be the Tartans.
So don't they have like a Sheltie or something as a mascot?
Oh gosh, now that I don't know. But then you're walking a razor thin line there about falling into geography, right? Because if you get to Carnegie Mellon, you may possibly have to get into like Pittsburgh, and then you're gonna, you're kind of fighting the against the tide there. I feel like if getting into indigenous people feels like a better path to me. I'm just wondering if Great Depression or pneumonia is going to get us there faster.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, list of individual dogs might get us into that too. I don't know. Maybe there was a famous individual dog that is related to Native folk. So that's certainly possible.
I'm really struggling for any Pittsburgh area famous dogs outside of perhaps the mascot for Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to necessarily tie us into Pittsburgh, right? It could potentially tie us into other indigenous people. It could tie us into other Native Americans, and we could find a way through that. So that's a possibility. The only reason I'm even thinking about it is because the fact that it's a link to list of individual dogs makes me so curious as to what's actually on that page that I kind of want to go there. I don't think it's the best path, but I kind of want to see. So I will leave the final call up to you between Great Depression, pneumonia, and list of individual dogs. I will be content going with any of those three.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it does. I don't know. It's it. All right. So now, okay, I'm just conflicted and confused because so I'm trying to understand why when I hover over Great Depression, it pops up with a preview of the human history of New Zealand. Because
I don't know.
ostensibly
Well,
those are two different topics. But when I look down at the URL of the
right.
preview that is spelled out, it is to the Wikipedia History of New Zealand article hashtag, which means go down to the Great Depression section of that.
Right.
So this would be the human history of New Zealand if we were to click on that, and it would just be part of the it would take us to the Great Depression section. But the human history of New Zealand is going to have probably an additional link to indigenous cultures, but it's not taking us directly to indigenous cultures. I don't believe so.
Well, it's also not taking us to the part of the world that we need to be in at all, right? Like this is going to get us into indigenous cultures in New Zealand or in that part of the world faster than in general. So,
agreed. All right, let me throw another curveball idea.
Oh boy, okay.
Wellington Museum is here. So Wellington museums have cultural artifacts, which are often taken from indigenous cultures. So that could theoretically be a way in.
Yeah, I suppose that again, we're looking at New Zealand type stuff probably in this particular museum, but you're right, it might link to more general things. So, it's a possibility. I don't know. I like Pneumonia or List of Individual Dogs better than Wellington Museum, but I don't know. I could be convinced.
So this is my first day up after being sick for 3.5 days. So I definitely don't want to do Pneumonia.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you want? Dogs or museum?
Let's do List of Individual Dogs.
Let's do it.
All right. Yes. There we go.
I was hoping.
There are, first of all, they've got different categories. The first is advertising.
Spuds MacKenzie. They
have Hachiko, a Japanese dog famed for his exceptional loyalty.
Oh, well, we talked about him last week because he's one of our destinations. So
I know. There's film dogs, there's television dogs, there's athlete dogs, faithful dogs, faithful after owner's death. There is there's so many famous dogs, more famous dogs, quite frankly, than I knew about. Famous working dogs.
There's a lot on here that I know. Moose, I'm familiar with, the Jack Russell Terrier from Frasier. Peggy, which is the Britain's ugliest dog that was in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nice.
We've got links to Rin Tin Tin on here, and Lassie, and here's Terry, the Karen Terrier who played Toto in The Wizard of Oz. So there might be a link in through some sort of what am I trying to say here? Like some sort of media, right? Potentially.
Possibly, yeah. There's a lot of famous dogs.
Yeah, there sure are. Here's Tiger from the Brady Bunch.
There's mascots. Hold on here.
Okay.
All right. Ha! Scotty, a Scottish Terrier, the mascot of Carnegie Mellon University. Now, unfortunately, Scotty not linked. Scottish Terrier is, but Carnegie Mellon is linked. And right above that is Reveille, a rough collie, the mascot for my alma mater, Texas A&M University.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, again, my concern is that we get into geography that way, because it might be tough to get from Carnegie Mellon to what we would need. I will point out that there is a link to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, which, they may be related to. They might have to do a little bit of archaeological work in the things that they do, right? So there's a possibility there.
I do see a link to the National Geographic Channel, which could get us into matters cultural. I'm down in the dogs of unusual size area, by the way, in which there are categories for small dogs, heavy dogs, tall dogs, intelligent dogs, long-lived dogs, Show dogs, notorious dogs.
Dogs of unusual size. I don't think they exist. There's a link on here to Meriwether Lewis.
Of Lewis and Clark
Lewis
fame?
and Clark fame, correct.
Okay.
Now, the reason I bring this up is because Lewis and Clark, many people don't know this, actually started their voyage, or part of their voyage, from Pittsburgh. So they have a little like part of Pittsburgh history there, and that may be, we need Pittsburgh history. It might be something there.
Well, and also like as one of the most notable explorations of the North American continent, I feel like Meriwether Lewis gets us certainly into a lot of interaction with indigenous cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's certainly a strong possibility. Where are you seeing this particular link for Meriwether Lewis?
Meriwether Lewis is linked up in the section under I thought it was other faithful dogs. Hold on, I've lost it. Oh no, here it is. It's under faithful after owner's death, and it's a good way down. But Seaman, the Newfoundland belonging to explorer Meriwether Lewis, would not eat or leave his owner's grave and died of grief. Oh, that was sad. Sorry that I read that whole sentence out loud.
Wow, that is sad.
That was a lot. I'm looking to see what else is on here because you're right. There's a ton of stuff on here. I thought I just saw something that was I saw Gettysburg, which gets us into Pennsylvania, but again, that's geographical. It's not really all that helpful. I don't know. What are you thinking about all these possibilities here?
I mean, this is such a long article.
It really
there are so many. Now, I mean, some of these are not legitimately famous dogs, I gotta say.
Okay.
Like Tank, a pit bull mix, is owned by Sydney Sweeney and makes frequent appearances on her social media. I feel like Tank is not famous in his own regard. He is adjacent to a person who is famous.
That's fair. I would go with that.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's all kinds of different things in here. A lot of, let's see, here's Alaska. There's a link to Alaska, but again, that's getting into geography, so never mind. Not too helpful. There's a lot of like dogs that were related to disasters and things like that, which I'm not going to read through all of those things, but there are some amazing dogs listed on here. Here's Sully, George H.W. Bush's yellow Labrador Retriever. Do they have wasn't there a dog that saved George W. Bush's life when he was choking on a pretzel?
You
know what I'm talking about? You remember that?
I remember Pretzelgate. I don't remember a dog saving his life.
Yeah, something about the dog jumped on his chest or something. I don't know. Who knows how true any of that was?
Yeah. So Klondike is actually linked here.
Oh, okay.
Klondike, Sunday, and Chipwich are 3 American Eskimo dogs owned by YouTube personality Jack Douglas, but it links to Klondike Bar. Now, Klondike Bars, as I learned recently from my wife, originated at Isley's, which was active in the area of the Monongahela culture. Perhaps Klondike Bars are somehow the final legacy of the Monongahela culture.
I don't think so, but yes, they are indeed from this area. So that's, again, we get into geography, I think, but yeah, that's true. I mean, the Klondike Bar,
I don't know how we're going to avoid geography in some form or fashion here.
Yeah. Well, I felt if we could get into other Native American cultures, we might be able to find a way connecting through that. But I'm not seeing anything that seems to relate directly to Native American culture. Although, I mean, like we said, Meriwether might be the way to go. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, hey, can I point something out real quick?
Sure.
That isn't related to this. I'm sorry. It just occurred to me. I forgot that I needed to apologize about something way back. Remember when we were doing our episode about we were on our way to the Kar Kutsevitsky double bass?
Yeah.
We were talking to we were talking to our guest, Colin, I believe it was. And I was talking about a Stradivarius violin, but I kept saying Stravinsky or Stradivinsky, I think, or something like that.
Did you?
Yeah, and no one corrected me. Like he was probably thinking, this guy, what is wrong with this guy? But he was very nice to not correct me. So thank you, Colin, for not correcting me. To all of you out there that heard me saying that and sounding like a real moron, it's just more proof.
I can't believe that I didn't correct you.
Yeah, I don't understand how either of you didn't, but there you go.
Well, I mean, Stravinsky was a composer.
Right, but I think I was saying Stradivinsky. Which is nothing. That's nothing. That's taking two words and putting them together.
Yeah,
two words that don't mean anything. So anyway, my apologies to everybody, especially the Stradivarius family. Okay, I have to point out another thing on here that I just discovered, or not just discovered, but I had heard previously about Bluey. Do you know? Do you know about Bluey? Do you know who Bluey is?
I know of Bluey. I don't know a lot of detail. Fortunately, I'm of the age where I don't have to watch children's television anymore.
So first of all, you should absolutely go and watch a couple episodes of Bluey. I know you're not going to do it, but I'm telling you that you should, because as an adult, you will still appreciate them. They are fantastic, and they're only 7 minutes long. Go check out a couple of them. Sleepy Time is the one that I recommend you start with. Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is Bluey, the Australian cattle dog. You still think I'm talking about the cartoon, but I'm not, because I'm talking about the dog who is verified as the world's oldest dog. She died in 1939 at 29 years and 5 months of age.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's who Bluey, the character, is named after, but there you go. I had heard this once before, and I still think it's amazing. So, all right, we have to pick a place to go, though, Jethro. We had to pick one of these.
All right, so we have an overwhelming number of options here. Now, I have gone down to the box at the bottom.
Oh.
And I have expanded it because I was wondering, like, you got to think about, okay, so dogs and humans have been around together for a while, right? And coexisted since before civilization. Dogs and humans have been get along with one another.
Okay.
So I thought there might be some possible connective tissue there. And there is a section there in terms of like roles. Now this is possibly going to be upsetting, but I was thinking about, like, all right, so how did prehistoric humans and dogs interrelate? And could that get us to indigenous cultures in some way? And there was a section called Meat Dog, which is dogs for human consumption, which I know is not currently in fashion in our society, but given that the meat of other animals is wildly popular, including with both of us, the humans on this call, that might be something that gets us into earlier civilizations.
All right. Well, let me start by saying no. Here's another one that we could check out, though. There is a link to cave paintings.
Okay.
And cave paintings, it's just talking about, in archaeology, like cave paintings. I think that might be a good path.
All right. Now let me ask you this. Are cave paintings just going to get us to indigenous cultures broadly, or are there cave paintings like in the U.S.?
I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, I could make up an answer if you want.
Yeah, make up an answer, would you?
I'm going to say yes.
All right, where is this link to cave painting?
Andy Warhol's linked on here as well, by the way. Very closely related to Pittsburgh.
We could easily go there. Yeah.
Through Andy Warhol. Cave paintings is linked under the section that's called, it's a big section, Other Notable Dogs. Go down to Robot, because Robot, a dog who belonged to a boy named Simon, discovered the cave paintings at
Lascaux.
Lascaux, is that how it's pronounced? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Those are arguably the most famous cave paintings.
Yes, that's correct. I've seen the word written many times. Did not know how to pronounce it. So,
I heard somebody say something once that really changed my perspective on mispronunciations. Is that when somebody mispronounces a word, it means they learned it by reading. So don't make fun of them. Also, don't make fun of people generally. But I recognize what a pure act of hypocrisy that is for me to say that.
Yeah.
But just know that I know I'm wrong. All right.
Okay, that's good. That's helpful.
Cave paintings. Let's go.
You want to do that? Cave paintings?
Let's do it.
Okay, all right. I gotta go back up. Okay, let's do it. Cave paintings. This is gonna be great. And you know what? It links to archaeology regardless. So I mean, that's now we can really disappoint Emma in the things that we say.
Because... All right. So let me say this. So there is a Paleolithic cave art by region section on this page, and here are the regions listed: Europe, East and Southeast Asia, India, Southern Africa, and Australia.
Right, but you would not want to go to Paleolithic cave art because that would be in the wrong time frame of what we're looking for. We would want to go to Holocene cave art.
Oh, my mistake. Aha, there we go. So there's where it lists Northern America.
Yes.
All right. Thank God. That you passed the test, Matt.
Thank you.
The test of can you deal with Jethro's stupidity?
So I see that there's a link already on here to Native American. Is Native Americans are indigenous peoples of the United States. This is one of the links that is on here. I haven't even gone, well, which is good because there's a very small section for North America.
I will also say that pre-Columbian is a link here. And given the fact that the Monongahela culture disappeared before the before the European settlers came in, I think pre-Columbian is probably a good place to go.
Probably, yeah. I mean, they're probably included in that as well. I think that the thing that we should just keep in mind is that we're talking like they disappeared later than that, right? Like probably closer to the 1600s rather than the 1400s. But that's not to say they weren't around before that, right?
They had to have been around to disappear.
Yeah. My concern is that that's going to talk more about things further south, right? That's going to talk about things more like in Central America or Mexico or things along those lines. But it may not. It may not.
Okay. Well, I mean, it would.
Native American is my inclination. But if you think pre-Columbian would be better, tell me why it's better than Native American, which would include also pre-Columbian.
I feel like, first of all, where's Native American? Where are you seeing this link?
I see it linked a couple of times, but you can find it under California. The beginning of the third paragraph is Native American tribes have contributed to the makings of Californian cave art. Native American is also in. There are also Native American pictogram examples in caves of the southwestern United States.
Yeah. So yeah, Native American is just a big topic. It certainly could be on there. I have a slight preference for pre-Columbian just because of the fact that they because of when it sounded like they disappeared, but I'm not going to fight too hard for that battle. So if you want to go to Native American, I'm fine to go to Native American.
Yeah, I wanted to look real quickly down at the bottom here to see if there was any sort of links to something that might be helpful to us in the purple boxes. And I do see mound builder culture.
Ooh.
And then U.S. sites of mound building. But I do see mound builders culture is in here. So that may be a good path. There's also Subterranea, which is a huge section, and it's very, very, very cool. There's even fictional features of Subterranea, like the Bat Cave is linked out here.
Nice. The Caves of Maastricht, which I've been in. I went on a tour of so there's this whole elaborate cave system that are carved out of limestone around the city of Maastricht in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And my first solo trip when I was at Boom Chicago, I was like, I've got a weekend free. I'm going to go down to Maastricht. So I took a backpack down there by myself. And I was like, oh, I'll go see these caves because that was what the guidebook said was cool. So I talked to the people. I was like, hey, listen, I'm American. I don't speak Dutch. Is this tour in English? She's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. I can do it in English for you. And so, we're waiting around for the thing to begin. And then she starts the tour and, she's doing her tour and it's just all in Dutch, all in Dutch, all in Dutch, all in Dutch. And then eventually I say something like, wow, these are really dark in here. And she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm supposed to be doing this in English.
Oh, that's great. So you learned basically nothing, but you saw a bunch of cool things.
Listen, I knew enough not to anger the tour guide who could leave me in a darkened labyrinth of caves.
That's smart. That was smart.
Yeah, like, all right. So what do you like? What do you like?
I don't know. So Emma mentioned something about the types of like
the mound building cultures. Yeah.
No, but she mentioned something about the types of not dwellings, but the like settlements that they built as well with like walls around them. Do you remember the name that she gave for that?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Because there's a lot of things like on here that probably relate to that. But mound builders culture, I mean, maybe the way to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you like that or pre-Columbian or Native American? I guess if we go to mound builders culture, it's more specific. And if we need to get out of it, it's probably going to have a link to Native American and pre-Columbian, right?
Yeah. I would say let's roll the dice on mound builders culture.
Let's do it. Let's go to mound builders.
It's under the arts and culture section at the bottom under prehistoric technology.
It is.
Specifically burial. All right. Many pre-Columbian cultures, so there's a link to pre-Columbian right there.
Yep, right away.
There's also a disambiguation for mound builder.
Oh, what are the disambiguate? Well, anyway, probably won't find out, but I'm curious about that.
There we go. Well, we can always check it out. If you're a premium subscriber, stay tuned.
Don't hold your breath on that though. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of I see Mississippian culture linked in here.
They Ohio River Valley is listed. Indeed. I suspect if we do a little patient looking here, we might find something interesting.
We might indeed. I see the Adena culture, Adena of Ohio and West Virginia and parts of nearby states. The Hopewell culture.
There's the famous effigy mound, Serpent Mound in southern Ohio.
Mississippian. There's there's a lot of cultures mentioned on here.
So many cultures.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the culture that we are looking for, the Monongahela culture, but a lot of cultures, which probably means if we went to one of these, we would wind up being able to get to the Monongahela culture through them, right?
Possibly, I said without incredibly strong.
Like this Adena culture seems very close. I mean, well, I guess they're more Western Ohio. It looks like based on the map that I'm seeing. The Fort Ancient culture looks like it has some stuff that's right around the right area. So they might have been Monongahela culture might have been part of the Fort Ancient culture. I don't know what Fort Ancient culture is, but
here you go.
Are you seeing anything? Are you seeing the actual thing that we're looking for by any chance?
I haven't yet, but I'm also trying to carefully read rather than talk. It's challenging to do both.
That is. So I do see at the bottom here, the Fort Ancient culture has a drop down. And it has a link to Monongahela culture in it. Boop, boop, ba-doo.
What? The drop down does?
Yeah, if you go down to the bottom, in fact, probably it's in a bunch of these drop downs, but there's yellow boxes instead of purple. Ooh. And one of them is the Fort Ancient culture. That's the first one I opened. And in related topics, it has Bone Stone Graves, Bone Mound 2, The Reckoning. That's not what it's called. Coal culture, Mississippian culture, and Monongahela culture is
there
linked.
We go.
Right
Click
there.
Away, baby.
Yeah.
Monongahela culture.
So that's it.
We did it.
We have found it. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't believe it. We did it. I mean, I do believe that we did it. I just can't believe that we did it that quickly. That took us 4 steps from Paddy the Wanderer, Jethro. I thought it was going to take us way more than that.
How many did you think it was going to take us?
Specifically, Jethro, I thought it was going to take us 7. That was my guess was 7.
Oh, my guess was
I can't see
6.
it. 6.
6.
By 1.
I live to fight another day.
You do. I thought that could have been it. It could have been like sinking the putt that makes it unreachable for you. And instead I choked. Oh, I thought for sure that was going to take us much longer than it did. But gosh, who knew that a list of individual dogs would get us to cave paintings, to mound builders, to the Monongahela culture.
There we go.
That's a little bit of, like I said, a little bit of digging we did on our own there. We're not we can't be called archaeologists, but if somebody did, I wouldn't correct them. Is that it? Is that what we're ending on?
I feel like that. It felt like you were providing a sign-off line there.
Good enough.
Yeah.